Welcome to automation number 6. Today we are going to talk about playbooks and blueprints. In my opinion, this is the most important thing that a business owner can implement in his business. More important than any automation that you will ever think of. The idea of a playbook, which we'll talk about it in a second, is the ability to create successful, repetitive actions that your team will follow. Bottom line, I will take my best salesperson or best operator in the company. I will learn what they're doing and I will create their actions as a step-by-step approach that every employee in the company will need to follow. That means that you are taking ordinary employees and you're making them super employees. On top of that, you will have also the ability to give management to know what's going on with the processes, which means they will have dashboards and reports and they will know if someone is not doing their job. Brilliant. In this session, we are going to talk about what are playbooks, what are blueprints, how they work together as one unit, how it will reduce errors in your business, how you can use it to grow your business, and much more. As you can see on the screen, there are multiple things that will happen if you are not using playbooks or blueprints. And if you don't, or you're using shitty ones, you will see that what's on the screen will be also in your business. So that's the downside. And this is also a good reason to spend the time to understand what are blueprints and playbooks to create them properly. The biggest pain point that I see as a manager is that without blueprints and without playbooks, there is no way to utilize manpower in an efficient way. The biggest expense in a business will be probably manpower. And in that case, if you are not providing your employees an easy way to work, you are losing the most expensive resource that you have in the business. The second one will be that management will be blind. Because if you don't have one process that the employee is supposed to take, there will be probably no way for management to report on if this is done properly. As an example, if I have a blueprint for leads, I can stamp when the lead came in and when was the first phone call. In that case, I will give management a report on all the leads that were responded to in more than 30 minutes. Right? So now the management will be able to learn why it happened and able to correct the employees. Also, the employees will know that someone is monitoring them. So they will try better, right? And they will try to give better output. Now let's continue with what is a playbook. Because many people confuse with a blueprint and they think that this is a playbook. A playbook will be the architecture that will be done using a blueprint, which means I will need, in order to create a playbook, I will need to create a flow chart, a design that is showing the best step-by-step approach. And the way that this is going to be implemented, it will be using a blueprint. So let's say in our company, when we are creating playbooks for clients, we are going to meet with them multiple times. We are going to take their way of running their business. We will provide them best practices and what other companies are doing that was proven to be successful. And eventually, together with our input and their input, we are creating the best step-by-step approach for the specific area that we are trying to create a playbook for. So that will be the best way that we can think of creating a process. A process might be sending a proposal, responding to a lead, anything, packaging items. It can be anything in the business, not only sales. Now, when we have all that, the playbook, we are going to use the feature named Blueprint. And the blueprint is going to be used in order to utilize what we created. And then the employees are going to use the step-by-step approach from the blueprint. Okay, and this is the differentiation between blueprint and the playbook. Now, for the blueprint, you will have a bunch of features. We already covered it in other videos. What is a blueprint, and show you demos of how to use blueprints. But the idea is that a blueprint can do many things for the business. When an employee is clicking on a button, for example, intro meeting conducted, there can be a pop-up that will ask, okay, what were the results of this intro meeting? Do we need a demo next? How many employees in the company? How many people showed up? What was the temperature of the meeting? Whatever you think that you need to ask from the meeting can be done on this blueprint. The blueprint can also create actions, sending notification emails saying thank you for coming to the meeting. Maybe automatically create a proposal and send it for a signature. Whatever you can think about can happen on a blueprint, before, during, and after the employee clicked on a button. Now, you can see also on the screen the way that you can create the entire process. So first of all, you need to discover, you need to have a conversation. And I really recommend, even if you do it internally with yourself, do it with an external factor. So that might be a consultant, business consultant, Zoho consultation company. I don't recommend developers for this purpose. Developers are great, but not to architect a system, because you can't talk about, I have 20 salespeople in my business and 1, 2, 3, 4, when the developer never managed an employee. They don't understand the space that you are in. So I don't really recommend using developers for this purpose. They will be very useful on the implementation side. But for this purpose, the discovery, I recommend to have the company that's supposed to implement for, and they will know their business and their processes, and another consultant that can bring their value to the meeting of how to, best practices, what not to do, super important, what yes, what other clients are doing and it's successful for them. This is super, super useful, because once you create the playbooks and the blueprints, your team are going to use it. And if it's not going to be successful, you are losing trust with your team, which is not great. The moment that you are doing the discovery, you will need to take all that and document it. I recommend personally doing it on a flow chart. I don't believe in long documents, 5,000 pages of documentation. No one reads them. It's a waste of money and waste of time. Whenever you do that, this is step number 3, and this is designing the playbook on a flow chart, step by step, what happens in each one of those steps. If it's a blueprint that's supposed to take place, you will write what will happen before the button is clicked, when the button is clicked, and what happens after the button is clicked, which means any automations that's supposed to take place. When this is ready and the customer or you are happy, then it will go to the developer for implementation, and then you are going to review it and start using it. The moment that you start using it, you will find more things that you didn't think about. In our case, when we are providing customers with the playbooks, they are always saying, holy shit, I didn't know that this is even possible. Let's also add this, add that, and so on. And then you go back to step number 2. You document additional steps and then send it to a developer. And then you are implementing the new things, and you do those iterations until you are happy and satisfied with the result. And now let's talk about specifically about the blueprint, the technology itself. The moment that you are implementing the blueprint, the biggest thing that I see with a blueprint is the ability to provide a step-by-step approach to a new employee. When you have new employees, it will usually take weeks or months until you know if they can do the job or not. And that's because you need to give them the logic of everything. Let's assume that you have a loan officer and he will receive applications and you need to train them. You get the application, you enter the information into the system, you go to this website, you're going to check the credit score. Credit score is more than 400 and they have a sibling and they have a wife and the wife, blah, 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 blah. Lots of knowledge before they can start working. But when you have a blueprint, you have a new employee, you teach them how to click on buttons. When a new application comes in, it will already be processed. It will already grab the credit. You don't need to think about that. And then it will tell you if this application is approved to proceed or not. If not, they will receive an automated emails. If it is ready to be approved, click on button number 2. So all the brain and all the complexities are installed inside the blueprint, right? There are many benefits to a blueprint, but for me, growing a business without a blueprint is suicidal. Now, in terms of mistakes to avoid, there are many. 99% of the blueprints that we see from prospects that coming to our company from developers, they do have blueprints, but those blueprints are not serving any purpose. It's just a step-by-step approach. It's cool, lots of features, but if you compare it to business needs and how this can grow the business and reduce errors and all the good stuff that we talked about, the why, it's usually not doing the job. Okay, so creating a blueprint without a playbook, total waste of time. The second thing is, and we hear it a lot, customers will come to a developer or anyone that is doing the job for them. They will give them their output of what they need, and the developer will come with a written playbook. So the developer already read their mind and know what the blueprint should look like without architecting together. So obviously you're missing the best practices, you're missing all the knowledge that comes from a conversation, and you're also missing how the system should look like based on the customer needs and the existing experiences, right? And in that case, obviously it's a loser. And the third problem, very common, people will not spend the money and the time involving a consultant that can see this playbook from a cold place with experience and knowledge, and then they will create it only what they see. And in most cases, it's just not good enough because they don't understand what's possible and what's not. And by the way, the top 20 CRM automations book will show you the art of the possible. So if you really don't want to spend money on consultants, at least buy the book, spend the $9 on it, and you will get perspective of what's possible and what you can do in those architectures. So until now, I hope that you're seeing what I see. And if not, I did a very poor job in this video. This is the most important thing that you can do in your business: designing proper playbooks and blueprints across the business. The most basic will be in sales. When lead comes in, how to behave with the lead. When we're sending proposals, how to create the proposal, how to create follow-ups, how to make sure that the management will have visibility on the forecast and problems in the process and so on. Without those playbooks, nothing will happen. And later on, there can be a playbook on virtually anything in the business. the more playbooks that you create, the more visibility you have, and the easier it is for employees to work. Okay? So that was automation 6 in the top 20 CRM automations in the Word book. If you don't have the book yet, I recommend you grabbing it. There is almost no money in books. I don't know if you know it. Almost nothing. I'm not doing it for profit. I'm doing it to give value to our audience, to our customers, and people that we work with. So grab a copy. It's worth it. We have hard copy and we have also a digital version. Okay. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.